Hi guys, it's Mario from MF Fly Tying. I got a message on the YouTube channel from Lawrence McDonald asking if I could tie one of his favourite flies, which is Cutthroat Muskin. And to be honest with you, it's one of my favourite flies. Generally I fish it in between two dries, and the fish are up to give them something that maybe if they're not quite on the dries, or if they're mixing about on some of the pupa, it gives them an option for that. So the fly that I've got in the vise just now is a black version. It's got a pearl flash just before the thorax, and then we've got the breathers tied with black pheasant tail. What I will do is, just for the video, I'm going to try to tie this in a size 12 bronze heavyweight tonight. And I was going to talk to you about fly proportions, and this is, I keep an eye on Facebook and various other places, and I tend to see anyone that's kind of getting into fly tying, sometimes they kind of struggle with the proportions. And what I generally do is when I look at the hook, I break it down into three. So you've got your rear section, your middle section, and your front section, and generally your proportions should marry up to that. What I see quite often is people running out of space at the eye, and that's generally because the proportions of the body are maybe too far up the length of the hook towards the eye. And when you're tying in a lot of different materials, you can run out of room and close up the eye, which, to be honest with you, there's nothing worse when you're out fishing and you can't actually thread your fluorocarbon through the eye of the hook because you've covered it up. So proportions are really important. I'll hopefully show you a little bit of that on this video. So I'm going to tie tonight with a Semperfly Nano Silk 50D. It's a fantastic thread, and if you haven't used it, go out there and buy yourself a couple of spools. It's not for everything. I wouldn't use this for like tying in booby eyes or things like that, because you can tend to cut through the booby eyes if you're not careful. It's not impossible to do it. You just need, your thread control needs to be pretty good. So we'll get a bed of thread down, and as I said, we're going to tie this in black. So we've got black pheasant tail, and I'm going to tie in 3 or 4 fibres in the back, because this is a fairly small fly, and the length of your tail is about the length of your hook. And if you just measure that up and then get it tied in over the top, and again, don't cinch down too hard on it, because you can, if you're not careful, you can cut right through the pheasant tail. We've got that tied in. We then want to add in a medium wire in there, and just lock everything down. Just take that down the full body. As I said, breaking that fly into 3 will allow you to get your proportions correct. So now that we've got that tied in, we want to come back down the length of the hook, and just before you get to your tail, you want to tie in your black pheasant tail. And I'm tying this in tip first, and again, nice loose turn, pull it back, and then tie that down. Just bring it to your tail, these touching turns. Then up to the top just before your thorax. Now, to protect the fly, because it's quite delicate, because you're using pheasant tail, you want to try and give it a little bit more protection. So what I tend to do is just add in a wee bit of super glue just over the top of it, not too much, but just enough to hold those pheasant tail fibres down. I'm going to take those, try and keep them together. You can give them a wee twist if you wish. As you can see, I've managed to break one there. Now at this point, because I've got a rotary vice, and I haven't got them in the hackle pliers. Just going to bring that up and twist, turn my vice, and then lock in the fibres, and that will give you your body. Remove your waist. Because we've not put too much super glue in there, it is okay to touch, but you want to just make sure that you don't touch that body immediately afterwards, because you will end up with your fibres all sticky from the glue, and that's not what you're really looking for. So once you've got your wire tied in there, helicopter it off, and then tidy up the head. At this point, I mean, you can really use any colour of tinsel that you wish. As I said, Lawrence was looking for a cutthroat red one, so I do have red in some red holographic on my bench, so we'll do it exactly the way that you wanted it tied. So offer up the red holographic to the hook, just bring that in there, and tie it down. Again, just give it a couple of wraps there just to give you your red. Remove the waist and bring it back up, just leaving yourself just a little bit of red showing in there. The next part of this is we want to now add in, can I actually remember, your thorax cover, and again we're going to use that with the black peacock, and again same process, in with the tips. Oops. Going to do that again. Did very well with that. This is just going to give you a thorax cover. Again, don't bring it too far back, else you'll lose the flash. And once you've got that tied in, I'm then going to add in the breathers. I'm going to use this stuff here, it's some Aerowing. So the easiest way to tie this in is if you've got your bobbin hanging down, if you just bring that up and you bring it round the back and just sit it on top, that's you actually get it sat in the perfect position. A couple of turns, and then just manipulate it to the position that you want it, and then figure of 8 around that just to hold it in. The great thing about your nano silk is, if you are just new to fly tying, the good thing about it is it's very, very thin, and it's also very strong. So for me, you can get an extra few wraps in it, and you know, we're not all amazing professional fly tyers, but by using the nano silk, what I tend to find is, you know, if you do need an extra few wraps, then there's a wee bit more forgiveness in that. And then for the thorax, just adding in, it's probably a little bit too much, but again, just adding in a little bit of squirrel dubbing. Again, for the thorax, figure of 8 it round, just taking the excess away, and then just pull everything back and just tidy up the head at the front so that we can get our thorax cover over the top of it. And final part, bring your thorax cover over, don't pull it too tight. Couple of turns at the front, pull everything back, and tie in a nice neat head. cut off your waist, and then tie it off. And then for your breathers, what I tend to do is pull them up and give them a snip. And that is you. The final part, if I can find it. I don't even know if I've got my varnish with me. Yeah. Just varnish the head. Just got a wee clean with the wire. And there's you. Once that's your cutthroat muskin, great fish for you can straight line them, you can fish it in a washing line, fish it in between two dries, which is my favourite method, and the amount of fish that I catch on the middle dropper between two dries on a muskin in exactly that format is amazing. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe guys, give us a like, and I'll look forward to speaking to you later. Cheers.